Yeah, I've had a lot of people comment on my hedge cutter when I'm trimming my hedge, so I figure I'll show how I went about doing it. It started off with one of these Ryobi expanded contraptions. Now these are okay, but the weak point is in here where they have a ob-round thing to reciprocate the blade, and it always seems to break here. I bought this one just to get the job finished while I was dreaming up something new, and this is what I came up with. Using the same head, I've doctored it up using a couple of 10-inch saw blades, plasma cut and sharpened. Now from top to bottom, you got the blade and you got a short shaft that was with the expanded. I managed to have myself a spare rod from a broken gas-powered unit that I used to expand it even more. I had to use a big sheet metal screw to hold it together because it didn't have the clipping ball. And the unit itself is corded Ryobi. The trigger went out a long time ago and I modified it so I have a rocker switch to turn it off and on. And this works well because you can turn it on and then grab it anywhere along the handle because it is a long unit. It has that I can reach easily 10 feet high on the hedge, so I don't need a ladder to go around the sides of the hedge, which is really convenient. And now we'll get to see it running. Yeah, unlike the reciprocating blade, which takes about 4 or 5 passes to make everything clean, this thing will do it in under 2, usually only 1 pass will do it, 2 maximum. And just because it's got bigger openings for cutting things, you still have to remember that this thing is, the unit itself is geared for about a 1/2 inch when it was reciprocating. So you try and take that into consideration when you're cutting stuff. But if you do cut something that is too large for it, it will shear off that pin and you'll just have to take it apart and put a new pin in. It won't damage the cable inside the shaft. And I'll go through the parts of disassembling it so you can see what I've done. Now the one thing I found out from running this is you do have to have these shorter than these tines, because if they have the full extension, when they hit something, they bend quickly, and that causes catastrophic failures. I've used a 2 1/4 common nail cut off as a shear pin. I had to machine this piece to fit over the slot on here, and the saw blade has a hole in it so that it fits the 2 1/4 nail there, and that operates as a shear pin, so you're not ruining your shaft every time you nail something that's too hard. stationary blade is the one that's got a sharpened, or the rotating blade is the one that has sharpened edges on it. On the stationary blade, I have 4 screws fit into the cut down and reworked mounting bracket. This is also something I had to machine. The screws I had to make in order to have them flat. I did threaded screws, but I had to re-notch them using a hacksaw or a Dremel to have a slotted thing in it and have it so that they're completely flat on the surface of this. I believe that they're 832 thread. It's been a long time since I built it, so you can tell from the wobbling, this one got bent a while when I hit something, a piece of fencing that was stuck in the hedge, and it kind of made a nice job of warping things up. But I haven't had anything hit that hard since. Stationary blade is, nothing spectacular. It's just all been plasma cut out and then machined. Same as the sharpened head. Now I'm not going to split this apart, but you do have to split it apart because you have to put in threaded blocks inside that slide into slots that are already in there, and that's on the 4 points. I also cut this off in order to shorten it so that the blade would still function, because it would be about this long otherwise. But that's the basics of it. Everything else was already here. I just had to make the pieces that fit that in order to get a saw blade to work. Okay. Like I say, that's the basics of it. It wasn't really difficult to slide these pieces in and, thread little rectangular pieces to slide into the slots and then drill and tap. Thanks for watching.